Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm here with Kyle. And today we're talking about how to stay connected during a conflict. So I'm going to hand it right over to Kyle and he'll walk us through a little exercise.
That's great. Thanks, Olivia. Yeah, one of the hardest parts is we haven't really learned how to have conflict from the perspective of not being egoically attached. I mean, it's kind of similar to the blog we did on politics. And that the problem in conflict is when two people have a position and want the other person to take on their position. So then both people are in their ego, their defense, and their protection. And it's all at a much more triggered, intellectual, controlling level. And if we go back to the understanding that basically we want all the exact same things. So if you and I are in conflict, or two people are in conflict, it's because we both want the same things, but don't necessarily have the same way to get there. We all want love and connection and joy and relaxation and peace and beauty and adventure and excitement. We want all those things, but then we just have trouble reconciling or figuring out how to do those things together. The more in conflict with you I am, is the more I care about that. If I don't care about you, I'm neutral. I'm ambivalent. I am, the death of relationship is in boredom and lack of interest, not in conflict. Conflict is just the mirror of care and interest. So if, I'm just gonna pretend you and I are in conflict. If you and I are in conflict, one of us, to resolve the conflict or to get someplace new, at least one of us has to decide to be in a non-triggered state, meaning we have to go to the level of consciousness that's not triggered. Otherwise, nobody's ever going to be heard. It's just my view, your view, my view, your view, my view, and it never penetrates anybody because we're both here, like shielding and protecting ourselves. Here's all my stuff, and we're only looking to see, that it impacts you. We're not really receiving any of what you're saying. It's like and you're going So one of us has to stop. And the reason why we're afraid to stop and listen to the other person is because we feel we need to protect our view, that we need to protect and make sure we're not impacted or changed by the other person. And you can't do inquiry without being impacted and changed by the other person, because once you see them and feel them, it's like it can't stand, oh, that's how you felt that way, or that's why that's important to you. And it detangles the whole thing. So that the exercise I recommend for couples or anybody in conflict, I call the talking stick. And you've probably all heard of this talking stick before, but this is a very specific nuance of the talking stick. If I have a talking stick, it could be invisible. I carry my invisible travel talking stick wherever I go, rather than a real one, because it takes up less place in my luggage. But I'd hand it to you and say, all right, you have the talking stick, and you take it into your hand and go, and okay, I use inquiry method. I get out, meaning I get out of my thoughts, beliefs, and ideas and judgments about you just to get curious. I say, I'm really ready to listen. What's bothering you? Or what's on your mind? Or how are you feeling about this thing? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, what else? Blah, 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 blah. And another thing, da, 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 and what else? Da, 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 and what else? Da, da, da. And again, I'm not reacting, I'm not responding, I'm actually letting myself feel you. And there might be something in there that's like, I get it. Yes, but it's just letting it come in, and that person keeps going. Or you can set a timer but you likely won't have to set a timer, because when we're actually being heard, it doesn't take that long. But then you get to say everything that you feel, and you keep going. I say, is there anything else? Is there, what else? What else? And at the end, I just say, thank you. Now, you may just need to digest that for a little bit. You might say, I just need to digest that for a little bit. And then I would specifically pick a time or place to do it the other way. If I'm actually ready, I've digested that and I've really heard it, then you could ask me, would you like to be heard? And I said, I'd love to be heard. Thank you. So they hand the stick to you, you take it, and they say, okay, what's going on for you? You want to avoid being giving counterpoints to what the other person said. This is not a point counterpoint thing. I'd like to go back to the start. And I said, well, I've been really upset and frustrated because I just, feel like we don't get any time together. And I feel like I just like more of you, more of your attention. It seems like you're giving attention to everybody else, not to me, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be high consciousness. It can be, just, and I feel, and then I lay in bed at night and I feel so sad. And then I wake up in the morning, there seems no reason to get up in the morning. And then my food doesn't, whatever it is, it's a matter of just getting it all out. And they say, what else? And again, it's just so that we can really see each other. This is not, necessarily for problem solving unless we come to, I get it. I didn't know that's why you were doing that. It's because of that. Oh, well, that's that's easy to fix. I see how we can resolve that easily. So it's not a problem solving. It's where each person gets heard. This is so important. I think for all of us, I think women are more in touch with it in general and have this quality of wanting to empty out their tanks, but I think men need it just as well. And there's something about, even if it doesn't go two ways, just to be heard and empty out your tank is so refreshing. I have coaching calls where it's just emptying out. It's not to heal anything. It's just, I got all this, blah, and they get it out. They say, I feel amazing. I'm so happy to get that out. So happy to get that cleared out. So the talking stick exercise, you'll be amazed, if you really hear somebody all the way out, you can't help but be moved by it. And it can't help but switch the situation. And it can't help for the other person to feel better. And it's just amazing how it just kind of neutralizes the situation. And then you can just go off and everybody can reflect on it. And then maybe there's another conversation to have based on that. Or maybe I say, well, I really didn't realize that later. And but keep to the strict practice. When it's done, it's done. Everybody take a break and digest. So that's the talking stick exercise.
Amazing. I had a question that came up for me during that.
Yeah.
What if you're in conflict with somebody and neither of you can hold space in the beginning?
Yeah, then you have to wait. I mean, one of the things that I think is really important in a relationship is as soon as I am emotionally triggered, I opt out. I say, this happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I was on a call with my relationship and I got triggered and I said, hey, I think I better go now because I'm feeling triggered. I'd like to just digest that and come back at a time when I'm not so triggered. Because when both people are emotional, because I knew also if I got triggered that it was also trigger her emotional triggers, and then we'd just be in this emotional trigger loop. So I just said, I think I'm just going to sleep on this and come back to it, when I'm not triggered emotionally. And then, then I do some inquiry on myself. I'd get to the bottom of why I'm triggered, or, in reflection about it, I can come back from a more peaceful place. And, if you got a partner that can really hold for you an inquiry and curiosity without getting triggered, that's amazing. And then you can just say, hey, I see you're triggered. Would you like, or just tell me more. Tell me more. What else? What's going on? What's that like for you? How do you want it? What is it that you want? All those kind of things.
Amazing. Thanks, Kyle. And thanks for everybody for watching. If you would like to see more communication exercises, head over to our website, lifeataltitude.com, and navigate to our tools tab. And you'll see that we have a lot of tools, blogs, e-courses, Kyle's book, are all there. So we have tons and tons of information to help you on your journey. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Olivia.